As coming to stand with either your feet at hip width distance or the base of the big toes touching, and whichever one of those feels most comfortable to you. Bringing your hands into Anjali Mudra, prayer position, and closing your eyes. Taking a moment to just sensitize to the soles of the feet in contact with the mat. You might pick up the toes, spread them out. Create that grounding action through the ball and heel of the foot, slight lift of the instep, and then bring your toes back down to the floor. Reaching the crown of the head for the ceiling, bringing your chin slightly in without dipping the head forwards, lengthening the back of your neck. Soften the skin of the face and start to bring your gaze inwards. And connect with the feeling of the flow of the air as you breathe. As you inhale, taking expansive breaths all the way up underneath the collarbones, top of the lungs. And as you exhale, a sense of releasing the skin of the back downwards towards the heels, as you maintain lightness and length. As you keep your focus on your breathing, slightly starting to deepen your breath. And as you exhale with a light touch, engaging Bandha, a slight lift of the pelvic floor, Mula Bandha, drawing in of the navel, Uddiyana Bandha. Taking this moment as you absorb yourself in the breath to observe the sensations in the body. And letting your breathing settle into a natural rhythm for you today. If you're breathing with sound, you can continue to breathe with sound. Wholly encourage the sounding breath. And releasing your hands down to the sides of the body, opening your eyes, keeping your gaze soft. With an inhale breath, raise your arms up. With your exhale breath, folding forwards on the full length of that exhale, full forward fold. On your inhale, rising to half forward fold, hands on the shins to start with. And as you exhale, full forward fold, bending the knees as you need at the start of the practice. Inhaling, rising to standing, reaching the arms up, looking up. Exhaling, floating the arms back down in time to that exhale breath. Inhale, expanding out with the arms, expanding into the breath. Exhale, engage bandhas as you fold forwards from the hip creases. Inhaling to half forward bend, shoulder blades draw back, chest broad. Exhaling, folding again, crown of the head towards the floor. Inhaling, energizing from the feet as you rise, arms up. Exhaling, bringing the arms down, standing Tadasana. Inhaling, expanding and raising the arms. Exhaling, folding, drawing the navel in, lifting the sitting bones, crown down. Inhaling, half forward bend, shoulder blades back. Exhaling, folding again, crown of the head down. Inhaling, rising up with the power of the inhale breath. Exhaling, maintaining lightness and length from the feet to the crown, hands down. Last one, half salutation, inhaling arms up. Exhaling, folding forwards. Inhaling, half forward fold. Exhaling, full forward fold. Inhaling, rising to standing, reaching up, looking up. Exhaling back to Tadasana, arms alongside the body, adding some lunges. Inhaling, arms rise. Exhaling, full forward fold, sitting bones lift, crown down. Inhaling onto fingertips or hands to shins, shoulder blades back. Exhaling, step back to downward dog. Inhaling, lifting the right leg high behind you. Exhaling, bringing it forwards to crescent lunge. Inhale, keep the front knee low, raise the arms up. Exhale, hands to the floor and back to downward dog. Inhaling, left leg lifts. Exhaling, take the whole exhale to float it through to lunge. Inhaling, front knee low, pressing the back foot down, arms up. Exhaling, back into downward dog. Inhale, rock forwards to plank. Exhale, coming all the way down to the belly through chaturanga. Point the toes back, low cobra. Inhaling, pulling the fingertips back. Exhaling, chin to the floor. Inhaling, pull the fingertips back, squeeze the shoulder blades together, low cobra. Exhaling, chin back to the floor, moving the hands back slightly. Inhaling to upward dog. Exhaling over the toes to downward dog and finding your breathing rhythm. Sensitize to the feeling of the pads of the fingers, the hand of the thumb in contact with the mat. Push the front of the mat away. Lift the sitting bones high. Engage the balls of the feet into the mat and feel like you're pulling the back of the mat towards the back of the room. Expansive breathing. And looking forwards between your thumbs with an inhale breath, step or jump, half forward bend, shoulder blades draw back. Exhaling, sitting bones lift, crown reaches for the floor, full forward fold. Inhale, press down into the feet as you reach the middle fingertip high. Exhale, back to Tadasana, arms alongside the body. Inhaling, raising your arms up. Exhaling, folding from the hip creases, sitting bones lift. Inhale to half forward bend. Exhale, back to downward dog. Inhaling, right leg lifts high. Exhaling, bring it forwards for crescent lunge. Inhaling, raising the arms, pressing into the ball of the back foot. Exhaling, back to downward dog. Inhaling, left leg lifts. Exhaling, forwards to lunge. Inhaling, rising and reaching. Exhaling, back to downward dog. Inhale, rock forwards to plank. Exhale, lower with control through chaturanga to the belly. Point the toes back, inhaling, low cobra. Exhaling, chest chin to floor. Inhale, low cobra, press into the tops of your feet. Exhaling, chin to the floor. Moving the hands back towards the waist. Inhale to upward dog, broaden the collarbones. Exhale, back into downward dog. Just following your breath, allowing the body to move with your breath. Maybe lengthening from the hands to the hips on the inhale and grounding with the feet on the exhale. Releasing the neck, looking down the tip of your nose towards your navel. And looking forwards between your thumbs, inhaling, step or jump, half forward bend. Exhaling, full forward bend, ribcage close to the thighs. Inhaling, press down the feet, reach the arms up. Exhaling, arms alongside the body. 2 traditional Surya Namaskar A. Inhaling, raising the arms up. Exhaling, folding, sitting bones lift. Inhaling, half forward bend. Exhaling, step or jump back to plank, and then chaturanga or the belly. Inhale through onto the tops of the feet, upward dog. Exhale, over the toes, downward dog, and breathe. Equanimous action of both hands, both feet. Allowing your breath to move the body, releasing the neck, broadening the upper back by turning the right hand slightly to the right clockwise, left hand slightly to the left, spiraling the biceps forwards. And looking forwards between your thumbs, inhaling, stepping or jumping, half forward bend. Exhaling, folding the ribcage close to the thighs, reach the crown down. Inhaling, rising up, reach the middle fingertips. Exhaling, control as you bring the arms down. Second one, inhaling, raising the arms up. Exhaling, folding, engaging quadriceps if your legs are straight. Inhale, half forward bend. Exhale, step or jump back, plank, chaturanga. Inhale onto the tops of the feet, upward dog, broaden the collarbones. Exhale, over the toes, downward dog, and breathe. Looking forwards between your thumbs with an inhale breath, half forward bend. Exhale, full forward bend. Inhale, rising up, pressing through the feet, lift the insteps. Exhale, bring the arms back down. 2 traditional Surya Namaskar A. Inhaling, sitting into Utkatasana, raise your arms up. Exhale, fold the rib cage onto the thighs and then straighten the legs as much as you can, sitting bones lift. Inhale to half forward bend. Exhale, step or jump back to plank, chaturanga. Inhale, tops of the feet, upward dog. Exhale into downward dog, left heel to the midline, right foot forwards. Inhale, warrior one, right side. Exhale, hands to the floor, plank, chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward dog, right heel to the midline, left foot forwards. Inhale, raise the arms up. Exhale, plank, chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. Keeping the rhythm of your breathing. Equanimous inhale, equanimous exhale. Engaging bandha with the exhale breath, hollowing out the lower abdomen, drawing the navel in. Looking forwards between the thumbs, inhaling, half forward bend. Exhaling, full forward bend. Inhaling, Utkatasana, chair pose, raise the arms up. Exhaling, Tadasana, standing. Inhale, Utkatasana, sit low, raise the arms high. Exhale, ribcage onto thighs, then sitting bones lift, crown down. Inhale, half forward bend. Exhale, step or jump back, plank and chaturanga. Inhale to upward dog. Exhale, downward dog, left heel to the midline, right foot forwards. Inhale, warrior one, right side. Exhale, plank, chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward dog, right heel to the midline, left foot forwards. Inhale, warrior one, left side. Exhale, plank, chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog, press into the tops of the feet. Exhale, Downward dog and breathe. Surya Namaskar B is often where the heat starts to build. And a little bit of challenge to the rhythm of the breath, a little bit more complexity to challenge that rhythm. And the downward dog, just trying to find equanimity in your breathing again. And looking forwards between your thumbs, inhaling, step or jump, half forward bend. Exhaling, ribcage close to the thighs, chin in. Sitting into Utkatasana, inhale, raise your arms. Exhale, come back to standing. Starting some variations, inhale to Utkatasana, sit low, raise the arms high. Exhale, ribcage to thighs, and straighten the legs as much as you can, crown down. Inhale to half forward bend. Exhale, step or jump back to plank and hold. Over onto the outer edge of the right foot, raising your left arm up. Press away through the outer edge of that foot, try and get the left hip to lift higher, and bring the left arm forwards over the ear. Keep pressing through the mound of the right thumb. Feel like you're spiraling the bicep, the inner elbow to face towards the thumb. Keep reaching with that lifted arm, lifting the left hip high. And left hand to the floor, over to the other side. Raising the right arm up. Pressing away through the outer edge of the left foot. Lift the right hip high, bring the right arm forwards over your ear. Feel like you're trying to create a curve through the side of the body as you lift that right hip higher. One more breath. And exhale, hand to the floor and hold it in plank. Press the floor away with the mounds of the thumbs. Feel like you're broadening your upper back. Keep pressing the balls of the feet into the floor. One more inhale breath. Then exhale, chaturanga. Hold it. Take an inhale, exhale. Then inhale onto the tops of the feet, upward dog. Exhale, over the toes, downward dog. Lifting the right leg up behind you, hold it there. Pressing through the ball of the left foot, feel like you're pulling it towards the back of the mat. Then open the right hip out to the right side, look underneath your right armpit. Bend your right knee and hand the heel over towards the left buttock. Keep pressing through the left foot and feeling like you're trying to pull it towards the back of the mat. Engage quadriceps on that left leg if you can. And then re-straighten your leg, re-square the hips to the floor so you're in three-legged downward dog. Take an inhale there, and then exhale, rock forwards to plank. Bending your knee, bring the knee to your upper right arm as much as you can. Squeeze the heel in towards your buttock, and then flick that foot forwards between your hands. So your left heel to the floor, so left toes are to the side, warrior two foot setup. And swing your right hip back to the midline. Reach your left arm forwards, draw an arc to the ceiling, and use that to draw yourself up into warrior two. Bend the front knee low, press into the outer edge of the back foot. Sink into the middle of the legs with a straight spine. Extend the arms, open the chest, and then look forwards over your right middle finger. Keep your concentration, a steady breath, and engage Bandha with your exhales. One more expansive inhale breath, opening the chest. Then exhale and bring the right arm down and hover the middle finger off the floor. Press that right arm back against the inside of the right leg. Feel like you're using that to help turn the chest and draw that right shoulder blade through the chest as you reach the left fingertips up. Take an inhale, come back to warrior two, and then straighten your front leg. One more inhale breath, and exhale into Trikonasana triangle. So right hand to the outside of the calf if the shoulder blades don't stack and the chest starts turning to the floor. If the right hand can go to the floor with the shoulder blades stacked, then you can do that. Press into the outer edge of your left foot. Feel like you're drawing up on the right quadricep and trying to pull the front of that thigh bone back into the hip socket. And inhale, come back up. Extend the arms and re-bend your front knee. Bring the right hand to the floor or hover it off the floor inside that right leg. And bring your left arm forwards over your ear. Parshvakonasana, side angle pose. Press into the outer edge of the left foot, and each inhale breath, stretch those middle fingertips towards the join between the ceiling and the wall in front of you. Right. Then bringing the left hand down to the floor, right hand palm down to the floor, and step back into downward dog. Adjust as you need to get the feet and the hands in line. And with an inhale breath, rock forwards to plank. Exhaling, lower through chaturanga, all the way to the belly, point the toes back, move the hands back to the lower ribs. Inhale to high cobra, squeeze the elbows in. Exhale, chin to the floor. Pushing forwards through the hands, inhale, high cobra. Feel like you're squeezing the shoulder blades together. Exhale, chest, chin to the floor. Hands move back a little bit more, and then inhale to upward dog. Exhale, over the toes, downward dog. Inhale, lift your left leg in the air. Keep it there. Ground through the ball of the right foot. Feel like you're pulling it towards the back of the mat and trying to engage the quadriceps. Then opening the left hip, looking under the left armpit, bend the knee, and hand the heel towards the opposite buttock. Keep the grounding action through the right foot, and to engage the muscles at the front of the leg. And re-straighten that left leg. Re-square the hips to the floor and rock forwards into plank with the leg lifted. Take an inhale and exhale as you bring the knee to the upper left arm. Squeeze the heel towards the buttock. And flick the left foot forwards between the hands. Right heel to the floor, right toes to the side. Swinging the outer left hip in. Right arm reaches forwards, draws a circle to the ceiling and draws you up into warrior two. Grounding, sinking low, keeping the spine vertical in the center. Look out over your left middle finger. Both arms are the same height. Reaching the back middle finger for the back wall to help open the chest. Have a sense you're lifting your hip points as you engage bandha. And bringing it down, left middle fingertip hovers off the floor. Right middle fingertip reaches for the ceiling. Engage the arm against the leg. Keep pressing into the outer edge of the right foot. And use that left arm for some leverage to try and turn the chest a little bit more. And inhale back to warrior two. Straighten the front leg. And into Trikonasana. Open the chest. Have a feeling you're drawing that left shoulder blade through the chest. Nice and broad across the collarbones as you reach that right arm up. Think about engaging the quadriceps on your front leg, seating that thigh bone into the hip socket. Inhaling, coming back up to standing. Bending the front knee, taking the hand down again. And hand can come all the way to the floor as long as the chest stays open. And arm forwards over the ear, looking up underneath your armpits as you reach all the way from the grounding outer edge of the right foot through that right middle fingertip. And bring the right hand to the floor, step the left leg back and readjust the hands, coming into downward dog. Couple of breaths here, lengthening from hands to hips with your inhale, grounding the feet with your exhale. And with an inhale, rock forwards to plank. Hold it there, taking another breath. Exhale, go slowly through chaturanga all the way to the belly. Move the hands back, point the toes back. Inhale, high cobra, squeeze the elbows in, long neck. Exhale, chest, chin to the floor. Inhale to high cobra, hands push forwards, collarbones broad. Exhale, chin to the floor. Move the hands back slightly towards the waist more and inhale all the way to upward dog. Draw the hip bones forwards. Exhale, over the toes, downward dog, breathe. Then looking forwards between your thumbs with an inhale breath. Step or jump, half forward bend. Exhale and fold, ribcage close to the thighs. Sitting into Utkatasana. Inhale, raise your arms up and hold it there. Squeeze the inner thighs, sit low in your chair, lift your toes off the floor to test the weights back in the heels. If you can, bring the palms together, then squeeze the palms in order to try and straighten the arms and broaden the upper back a little bit more. One more expansive inhale. As you exhale, bring your hands into prayer, stay in your chair. Inhale, lift and broaden the chest. Exhale, fold forwards over the thighs and lift the sitting bones high, crown down. Inhale to half forward bend. Exhale, step or jump back to plank and hold. Over onto the outer edge of the right foot again. Stack the feet if you can, keeping left toe in front if you can't. Raise your left arm up. And raise your left leg up. Press through the outer edge of that right foot. Lift the left leg as high as you can. Try higher, try higher, try higher. And then bring it down, over to the other side. Outer edge of the left foot, right arm up. Get the grounding in both the hand and the foot, and then raise your right leg. You've got to press away through that outer left foot. You've got to try and get everything through that left side of the body in one line. Hand, hips, foot. And bringing the right leg down, hand to the floor, back into plank. Take an inhale breath in plank, and exhale all the way down onto your belly. Hands move back to lower ribs. Inhale, high cobra again. Press the tops of the feet down, squeeze the elbows in. Exhale, chest, chin down. Inhale, high cobra again, squeezing the elbows in, hips pull forwards. Exhale, chest, chin down. Hands back even further towards the waist. Inhale all the way to upward dog. Exhale, over the toes, into downward dog. Inhale, your right leg in the air behind you. Exhale, rock forwards to plank with the leg lifted. Inhale, stretch the toes for the back wall. Exhale, knee to the upper right arm. Squeeze the heel up towards the buttock, keep pressing the floor away with the hands. One more inhale breath. And exhale, flick that foot forwards between the hands. Warrior two, set up with the feet again. Left heel down, left toes to the sides. Swing that outer right hip in. And left arm forwards, draw yourself back into warrior two. All right, so those of you who want to take the time to just go and get a block if you need it, we're going straight into Ardha Chandrasana from here. Now you're going to reach and go up in one go. So right hand's going to come to the floor, left leg's going to lift up, arm's going to go up in the air. See if you can do it in one graceful move. Or right hand onto a block. All right, so turn those toes, left toes, very deliberately to the side. Create some dorsiflexion on the foot as if you were flexing the toes back towards the knee, but then press that foot away as if you're trying to ground it on the wall behind you. Engage the quadriceps on your standing leg. And bending your front knee, ribcage close to the thigh with as much grace as you went up. Come back into warrior two. Inhale in warrior two, then exhale, hand down to the floor or hover the fingertip and reach the arm forwards over the ear. Those of you who want to take the bind, right arm under the leg, left arm down the back, grab the wrists or the fingers if you can, and then turn the chest. Turn it towards the ceiling. Keep swinging that outer right hip back to the midline of the mat. If you have the bind, release it and rejoin everybody in traditional Parsvakonasana, side angle. And then everybody bring the left hand down to the floor and turn the back foot into a lunge. You might have to hop that left foot slightly more out to the left side. Here, walk the right foot off the edge of the mat, right heels on the mat, toes off the mat. And then see if you can come down onto your elbows. If you can't come to the elbows, you're pushing the hands forwards, bending the elbows backwards just as low as you can. Keep the legs firm, pressing into the front heel. Feel like you're pressing that heel in the direction of your toes. Press into the base of the big toe of the left leg. All right, so this might take a slight adjustment if you're not on your elbows. So you might be doing this, taking the hand behind you and then coming to your elbows. But you're going to take that right leg back and come into a forearm plank. All right, now your root. You're into a forearm plank. And then come down to your belly, convert it to Sphinx, point the toes back. Press into the elbows, pull the elbows to the back of the mat. Press the tops of the feet down. Feel like you're pulling the hip bones forwards towards the front of the mat. One more inhale, and then exhale, convert it back to forearm plank. Inhale in forearm plank. Exhale, come down to your belly into Sphinx. Inhale, pull the elbows back, the chest forwards in Sphinx. Exhale, tuck the toes under forearm plank. Inhale in forearm plank. Exhale, back into Sphinx, pointing the toes back, pull the elbows back for an inhale breath. Exhale, one more forearm plank. Press into the elbows, pull them towards the sides of the mat. And exhale, back to the belly to Sphinx. Inhale in Sphinx. Then exhale, chin to the floor, hands alongside the lower rib waist. Inhale to upward dog. Exhale to downward dog. Inhale, lift the left leg up behind you. Exhale, rock forwards to plank with the leg lifted. Inhale, stretch the toes for the back wall. Exhale, knee to the upper left arm, keep it there, keep breathing, press the floor away, broaden your upper back. And next exhale, flip the foot forwards, right heel comes back to the floor, swing that left outer hip in, right arm forwards up to the ceiling and back to your warrior two. Remember, you'll need a break for this. Excuse me. Pressing into the outer edge of the right foot for a moment, find your warrior two position. Apart from straightening the front leg, you're in exactly the same position in Ardha Chandrasana half moon pose. Reaching forwards with the left hand. Hop that right leg up, reach the right middle fingertips for the ceiling, and start to work on the legs. Grounding through the left foot, draw up on the left quadriceps, dorsiflex the right foot and press that foot away from you. If the left hand is on the floor in particular, as you press the left hand down into the floor, draw the left shoulder blade through the chest and try and open the chest to the side a little bit more. And bending your left knee, reach back with the right foot and come elegantly back into warrior two. Inhale in warrior two. And exhale, left arm down, right arm over here. So hand can be on the floor if the chest is open, otherwise hovering it. And if you have got your hand on the floor, then you might want to do the bind. Left arm under, right arm down the back. Grab the wrist and then use the hands to draw that outer left hip back to the midline as you turn the chest open. Couple more breaths. Maybe 3 more breaths. Maybe 4 more breaths. All right, then release the left hand down, those of you who got the bind, and take the right arm back over the ear. Inhale, breath there. And exhale, everybody, right hand to the floor. Readjust the back foot into lunge and shuffle your left foot off to the side. Left heel on the mat, toes off the mat. And then either on the hands or on the elbows. If you're on the hands, you can start to bend the elbows by bending them backwards. Try not to bend them out to the side, but keep them in line with your shoulders. If you're on the elbows, don't forget the action in the legs. Press into the left heel, press it in the direction of the toes. Press into the ball of the back foot. Couple more breaths, engage bandhas with your exhale. Draw the navel in. And then make the adjustment and step it back into forearm plank. Holding it for an inhale breath. Press the elbows out towards the side of the mat. Then exhale, come down onto the belly, point the toes back, Sphinx. Press the elbows in, inhaling, pull the elbows back. Exhale, back into forearm plank. Inhale in forearm plank. Exhale, back down into Sphinx. Inhale, lift the chest, pull the elbows back. Exhale, forearm plank. Inhale, forearm plank. Exhale, back into Sphinx. Inhale in Sphinx. Then exhale, chin to the floor, bring the hands alongside the lower ribs. Inhale to upward dog. Exhale, downward dog and breathe. And looking forwards between your thumbs with an inhale breath. Step or jump to half forward bend. Exhale breath, folding ribcage close to the thighs, reach the top of the head down, sitting into Utkatasana chair pose. Inhale, raise the arms up, stay in chair, and exhale, hands to the chest. Inhale, lift and broaden the chest, then exhale and press the right upper arm to the outside of the left thigh, twist. So hands are in prayer, pressing the left palm into the right palm as you engage the right upper arm against the leg. And draw the right hip back so that the right knee is not jutting forwards, and use the leverage of the arm against the leg to turn. One more breath. And inhale, bring it back to the center with the chest lifted, still in chair. Exhale over to the other side, left upper arm outside the right thigh. Press the right palm onto the left palm. Try and keep the thumbs in contact with the body, aiming them back to the center of the chest. Draw the left hip back so the left knee is not jutting forwards. And engaging the arm against the leg to turn. If you can, steady your breath. And inhale, come back to chair in the center. Exhale, fold forwards over the thighs, lift the sit bones, crown down. Inhale to half forward bend. Exhale, step or jump back to plank and hold. Over onto the outer edge of the right foot. Raise the left arm up. Raise the left leg up and hold it there. And with an exhale breath, bring it down. With an inhale breath, lift it up. Exhale it down. Inhale it up. Exhale it down. Inhale it up. Exhale it down and turn to the other side. Inhale, raise the arm. Firm the pose. Lift the leg up. Hold it there for a few breaths. And exhale, bring it down. Inhale, bring it up. Exhale, bring it down. Inhale, bring it up. Exhale, bring it down. Inhale, bring it up. Exhale it down and convert it to a full plank. Take an inhale breath in plank. Exhale all the way through chaturanga onto the belly, point the toes back. Taking the arms back behind you, interlacing the fingers. Inhale, lift into locust. Stretch the knuckles back, broaden across the collarbones, hold it there. Each inhale breath, try and lift the chest a little bit more. Each exhale breath, cinching the sideways, draw the navel in. Press the tops of the feet into the floor. So we're doing a half locust. One more inhale, and exhale, chin down, hands to the lower ribs. Inhale to upward dog. Exhale to downward dog. Inhale, raise the right leg behind you. Exhale, elegantly bring it through to a lunge. Keeping the left hand down, raise the right arm up. Firm the feet, particularly the ball of the back foot, and inhale, lift into a twisted lunge. Take one more inhale breath to broaden the chest. Then exhale, keep the turn, hands into prayer. Inhale, more broad chest. Exhale, left upper arm to the outside of that right thigh, hands in prayer. Press the right palm into the left palm and turn. So just the same as the twisted chair pose, but in a lunge position. Same action going on in the arms and the legs. So I want to squeeze that outer right hip back to the midline so that the contact point of the leg starts to engage a little bit more firmly with the arm. And inhale back into a twisted lunge, and exhale into twisted Ardha Chandrasana. So left hand's coming to the floor or block, left legs lifting in the air, Chest is turning to the right side of the room. All right, so right leg is the grounded leg. Engage the quadriceps, really reach the left toes back as you press the left hand into the floor. Try and turn the chest a little bit more to the right. And then bending the front knee, control it. Left foot back, back up into your twisted lunge. Take an inhale breath in twisted lunge. Exhale, hands to the floor to plank. Inhale in plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. Inhale, left leg in the air behind you. Exhale, gracefully bring it forwards to lunge. Right hand to the floor, left arm up. Firm the back foot into the floor, so a really strong action into the ball of the foot. Lift up, twisted lunge. One more inhale breath there. Exhale, hands to prayer, keeping the twist. Inhale. Exhale, right arm to the outside of the left thigh. Pressing the left palm onto the right hand. Minds the thumbs pressing strongly. And swinging the outer left hip into the midline. That you engage the leg against the arm. Keep firming the foot into the floor behind you. And inhale back into twisted lunge. From there, launching yourself into twisted Ardha Chandrasana. Right hand to the floor, right leg lifts, turning the chest to the left. Left leg is working strongly. Using the right hand to get a little bit more turn, drawing the shoulder blade through the chest. And bending your front knee for control. Reach that foot back behind you and back up into twisted lunge. Inhale in twisted lunge. Exhale, hands to the floor and back to plank. Inhale in plank. Then exhale, chaturanga. Inhale onto the tops of the feet, upward dog. Exhale over the toes, downward dog. Inhale the right leg in the air behind you. Exhale, rock forwards to plank with the leg lifted. Inhale, stretch the toes for the back wall. Exhale, bend the knee to the upper left arm. So you're twisting. And straighten the leg out to the left side of the mat. Raise the left arm up, twisted triangle. If you want to take it further, left heel to the floor, right leg lifts. Keep breathing, keep pressing the outer edge of the left foot into the floor. And then left hand to the floor, swing that right leg back up behind you and open the hip. Bend the knee, hang the heel over towards the opposite buttock. And if you want to convert this into a wild thing, right hand leaves the floor, left foot turns on the mat, right foot drops down behind you. Press the toes into the floor, reach that right arm back behind you. Then flipping it back into normal downward dog. Take a couple of breaths. Inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, rock forwards to plank, leg lifted. Take another inhale there. Then exhale, bend the knee to the upper right arm. Extend the leg out to the side, raise the right arm up. Bringing the right heel to the floor, lifting the left leg up if that's available. Keep breathing, whichever position you're in. Then bring the right hand to the floor, swing that leg back up behind you. Open the left hip and hand the heel over towards your opposite buttock. If you want to convert it to a wild thing, left hand lifts, right foot turns, left foot drops. Right left arm reaches behind you. Press the ball of the left foot into the floor and try and lift the hips higher. And flick it back into full downward dog. Inhale, downward dog. Exhale, rock forwards to plank. Inhale in plank. Exhale, all the way down onto your belly. Point the toes back, interlace the fingers. Inhale, lift the chest. And take a couple of breaths. Firm the pubic bone into the floor. See if you can lift the hands off the body. And then lift the feet up. And feel like you're reaching the knuckles back towards the heels. The toes are really reaching for the wall behind you. You're trying to come to balance only on your hip bones and your pubic bone. It's unlikely to ever happen, but just think about it. Inhale in there, and exhale. Release the hands alongside the lower ribs. Inhale to upward dog. Exhale to downward dog. Breathe. So I don't know about anybody else, but I'm working up quite a nice sweat now. Oh, yes. One of my favourite things to do in a vinyasa practice. And get little drips off the end of my nose. Probably too much information, but just so that you know, if you're sweating too, you're not alone. And looking forwards between your thumbs with an inhale breath, step or jump, half forward bend. Exhaling, folding rib cage close to the thighs. Sitting into Utkatasana again. Inhale, raise the arms up, hold. Now you can either have the arms apart, shoulder width distance, or the palms together, whichever one of them suits you. And lift the fingertips as high towards the ceiling as you can. Squeeze your inner thighs, lift your toes, and sit down lower. And lower. Lift the arms higher, sit lower. And then keep sitting in your chair, but fold the rib cage closer to the thighs and reach your arms forwards in front of you. So feel like you're still lifting the thumbs towards the ceiling, look down towards your toes. You try to squeeze the inner thighs, but lift the arms. And bring the hands to the floor at shoulder width distance. Take your knees apart and come up onto the balls of your feet. So hands are on the floor a little bit in front of the toes. And bend the elbows backwards, knees to the outside of the upper arms, squeeze them on. Look forwards, grip your fingertips into the floor and crow pose. So when you're ready, feet lift. Tipping forwards, lifting bottom, squeezing knees and onto the upper arms. Once you're lifted, feel like you're trying to lift your toes and heels to make contact with your buttocks. Good, these are looking good. One more inhale breath, and then with a powerful exhale, jump it back into a plank and hold. Take an inhale in plank. Then exhale, chaturanga. Inhale to upward dog. Exhale to downward dog. Inhale the right leg in the air behind you. Exhale and bring it through to lunge. Bring your left knee down to the floor and your right arm to the inside of your foot. Keep the right hand grounded. Bend your left knee and reach back with the left hand. Take hold of the foot. If you can't get the foot, you need to come higher at the front in order to get to the back. You can lift up. You can even put an elbow onto your knee if that makes it easier. Either hand on floor, arm on leg, whichever you need to grab the foot. And kick the foot back into the hand and turn the chest open towards the left side of the room. Keep engaging the arm against the leg to help you stabilize. And then release that. Bring the left shin to the floor, the left hand to the floor. And then turn the toes slightly out to the side. Take that right leg back behind you and raise your right arm up. So it's like you're in a side plank but with your knee on the floor. Once you've got there, you can turn the toes so they're directly behind the knee. If you find that you can go higher, so if you could get more of a stretch on the right side, move that left knee closer to your hand so that the thigh is more vertical. And wherever you are, press into the outer edge of the right foot. If you can bring that right arm forwards over your ear. Again, hand, knee and heel of foot or instep of foot are pretty much in line. Press into the left hand. Press into the outer edge of the right foot. And lift your right leg up in the air. And keep grounding through the left shin. Take the fingers back up to the ceiling. Bend your right knee and see if you can reach for that foot. Once you've got the foot, kick the heel away from the buttock and take that heel back behind you. So you're not kicking it to the ceiling, you're kicking it directly behind the buttock. Keep grounding through the left shin, left hand. And release it, take the leg back out to the side. Bring the foot back down to the floor, hand back down to the floor and convert yourself into a plank. Take an inhale in plank. Exhale, chaturanga if you can. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. Inhale, left leg in the air behind you. Exhale and bring it through to lunge. Left hand grounder to the inside of the foot, right knee to the floor. Bend the right knee, reach the right hand back behind you and grab the foot from the inside. And press the arm back against the leg and turn the chest open. Keep kicking the foot away from you, lifting the chest as much as you can and steady your breath. And bring that foot back down to the floor, hand back to the floor, swing the right toe slightly out to the right, and then just lift that left leg up and swing it round. So in step or near in line. Once you're there, right toes can go directly behind the knee and adjust the knee closer to the hand if you can. Press into the outer edge of the left foot, raise your left arm up and take it over your ear. So keep pressing into the outer edge of the left foot. Left foot in step more or less, could be toes, you've just got to feel it. Could be lined up with the knee. You're looking to get that body in one straight line all the way from the heel to the fingers. And bring the left fingertips to the ceiling. Lift your left leg up. Keep grounding through the right shin. And bend your left knee, reach the hand, see if you can grab the foot, and once you've got the foot, kick the heel away from the buttock, not to the ceiling. Opening the front of the hip, opening the chest. Keep breathing, keep kicking. And elegantly release it. Bring that foot to the floor and convert yourself into a plank. Lining it up, take a couple of breaths in plank, pressing the floor away with the hands. And with your exhale breath through chaturanga, all the way down to the belly, pointing your toes back. Take the arms into casual sphinx, so elbows are out to the side. And press both hip bones into the floor, lift your left leg up. You're pointing the toes to the back wall. And lift your right arm up and stretch it out in front of you. So you can still get a bit of a little grounding from the left forearm. Keep lifting foot as high as you can with the hip bone grounded. Lift that right arm as high as you can. And then form a fist and draw back with the elbow. Hold it there, couple of breaths. Extend it forwards. Hold it there, couple of breaths. Draw it back. Hold it there, couple of breaths. Extend it forwards. Hold it there, couple of breaths. Draw it back. Keep breathing. Extend it forwards. And then bring that side down to the floor. Both sides drop. Take a couple of breaths in casual sphinx. Then right hip bone stays connected to the floor. Lift the right leg up. Point the toes back behind you. Lift the left arm up, reach it forwards. And form a fist and draw it back. Take a couple of breaths. Extend forwards, couple of breaths. Draw it back, couple of breaths. Extend forwards, couple of breaths. Draw it back, couple of breaths. Extend forwards and bring it down to the floor, and then just stack your hands, rest the forehead onto the hands and breathe. And find the steady rhythm of your breath. Breathe into the back of the body, expand the back of the body with your breath. As you exhale, just let everything sink into the floor. And then walk yourself back up onto the elbows into a sphinx pose. And activate your sphinx, press into the tops of the feet, engage your legs. Press your pubic bone down and feel like you're pulling the hip bones forwards as you draw the elbows back. Lift the bottom part of the breastbone up and forwards. As you exhale, draw the navel in, cinch in the side waist. And just explore all of those different actions. What happens if I press the tops of my feet down? What happens if I pull my hip bones forwards? What happens if I ground my elbows and pull them back? What happens if I try and lift the bottom part of the breastbone a little bit more? Are those back muscles working harder? Does it feel good? All right. Give me a smile, give me a frown. All right. And then take your hands out to the side of the mat and convert it into a seal pose. Straightening the arms, spiraling the biceps forwards. Just test it if you think, oh, I could hang out in this seal pose all day. Then come down to your elbows and make it slightly harder by moving your hands back. And then try again and go, oh, I could hang out in this seal pose all day. So just keep walking it back until you've reached the point where you think, okay, I'm at my maximum for working hard. I find this quite a restful pose. It is a yin yoga posture. Held for up to 8 minutes. Anybody's feeling it? You want to hang out in seal pose for 8 minutes while we do the next bit? Then you are free to give it a go. All right, so one more inhale breath. Then exhale and come all the way back down onto the chest and walk the elbows back into Sphinx pose. Interlace your fingers, tuck your bottom little finger inside, tuck your toes under and convert it into a forearm plank. And keep pressing the elbows down and broadening your upper back. Lengthen your tailbone now towards your heels. You'll probably feel those back muscles that have been contracting there starting to lengthen out again. And ground all the way from your wrist to your elbows and push forwards through the elbows, take your sitting bones up in the air. Start to walk your feet in. Keep that grounding from the wrist to the elbows and walk the feet in until the shoulders are sat over the elbows. Raise your right leg up in the air behind you. Bring it down, raise the left leg up in the air behind you. Bring it down, raise the right leg up in the air behind you. Bring it down, lift the left leg up in the air behind you. Bring it down, right leg. Bring it down, left leg. Bring it down, right leg. Bring it down, left leg. Bring it down, last one, right leg. Bring it down, last one, left leg. Bring it down and come down to your knees, but don't go into child's pose. Take a couple of breaths. And then pressing down again, lift the sit bones high. If you can walk the toes in a little bit more, then do. Raise the right leg up in the air behind you. Push the floor away with the forearms and take a little hop. If you want to take more than a little hop, you're free to do so. So just a thought for all of you. So one of the things that you might find, just keep going while I'm talking to you. You don't have to stop. So swap it to the left leg whenever you want to. So just a thought. One of the things you've got to keep bearing in mind as you lift off the floor is that the chest is still trying to move to the back of the mat. So shoulders, you don't want them swinging forwards when you lift up. You've got to keep that grounding action, keep those shoulders over the elbows. Good, and then bring it down slowly and gracefully and without desperation and come into child's pose. Sitting bones back towards the heels, knees wide, forehead onto the floor. Find your breath again, and as you settle into a more equal rhythm of breathing, let the inhale breath expand the back of your rib cage. Soften at the groins with your exhale breaths and let the rib cage sink down through your thighs. And then rocking back up onto all fours. Bring the knees back into hip width distance, tuck your toes under and going back into downward dog. Few breaths in downward dog, releasing your neck, looking down the tip of the nose towards the navel. And then walk your feet in a little bit towards the hands, bend your knees, look to your thumbs and get a little bit bouncy. And just have a little wiggle, bounce, sitting bones lift, bend the knees, sitting bones lift. And then keeping looking forwards between your thumbs, take some bunny hops. So hop the heels to the sit bones and then try and land on the floor as light as a feather. So it's in the landing where we start to gain the control. Engagement of bandha to land on the floor with lightness and control. Then once you stop bouncing, looking forwards between the thumbs, take a jump. Half forward bend. Exhale, fold rib cage close to the thighs. Now without Utkatasana. Straight legs inhale, raise the arms up. Exhale, hands into prayer. Inhale and lift your right knee high. Hold it there for a couple of breaths. Lengthen, shoulder blades draw down. Crown of the head rises, quadriceps on the left leg engages. And then take your right leg back behind you slowly and convert it into warrior three. Try and keep the thumbs in contact with the chest, the collarbones broad. L shape if you can with the legs. Engaging the quadriceps of the standing leg, really reach the toes of the back leg back behind you. And then bring that back up. Knee in front of the hip, hold it for a couple of breaths. And then repeat, take the right leg back behind you. So think about those floor-based backward bends we've been doing, balanced on the hip points. You're trying to lift and open the chest and lift that right heel up towards the ceiling, almost as if your hip bones were on the floor. And then lift it back up, knee in front of the hip, take a couple of breaths as you stabilize. And then bring that right foot down to the floor, over to the other side. Left knee in front of the hip. Get that feeling of length, vertical line, and then take the leg slowly back. Straighten the leg, and that will tip your torso forwards. So don't think about folding forwards. Think about the leg reaching back and lifting to tip you forwards. Helps you to get more control over the front heads of the shoulders and try and keep those drawing back, broad chest. And then bringing it back up, knee in front of the hip, stabilize, couple of breaths. And then take it back again. Control the movement and feel those subtle changes in the balance. We're constantly looking for a little bit of compensation one way or another way. It's stretching the foot back, try and lift the heel as high as you can, keep the front heads and the shoulders drawing broad. And then back, knee in front of the hip, hold it a couple of breaths, and then back into Tadasana. Now just close your eyes for a moment and just feel how that constant subtle rebalancing is going on in your body all of the time. All of the time. Opening the eyes, release the hands down to the hips. We're training ourselves to subtly rebalance on one leg without even thinking about it. Lifting your right leg up. Reach down with the right hand for the front of the shin and draw that knee as high as you can while keeping your vertical line on the left side of the body. Keep working the standing leg. Engage your bandhas. Lift and broaden across the collarbones. Then keep the leg lifted with your first two fingers. Reach down the inside, grab the big toe. Get the vertical line back. And then from that vertical line, extend the leg upwards. Feel like you're lifting it upwards. Doesn't matter if the leg doesn't straighten, but keep the vertical line. Draw the shoulder blade down the back. Lift and broaden the chest. And then take your leg out to the side. You could be holding the shin. Could be holding the toe. Keep working on the stability through the left side of the body rather than worrying about how high the right leg is. And bring it back to the center. Bring the hands to the hips, keep the leg lifted. And don't drop the foot to the floor, but bring it to about a foot from the floor. Sweep it slightly out to the side and realign the hips. Lift the leg up behind you and back into warrior three. Once you're back into your warrior three, you can do various things with your arms. You could reach them forwards, you could take them back behind you, but away from the hips like airplane wings, or you can bring them into prayer. So forward tends to work the back muscles more. Just because as you lengthen the levers, whether it be the leg or the arms, they start to put more pressure on the core of the body. That muscles included. All right, and then elegantly bring that back to standing, take a breath. And then lift up, bent left knee first, remember, hold on to the front of the shin. We're just working on getting that lift as we get that line through the right side of the body. Gauge quadriceps. Lift the knee as high as you can. Then keep it lifted, first two fingers, grab big toe. Re-find your vertical line, the breadth in the chest, and extend the heel forwards and upwards. Good. All right. And taking the leg out to the side, try and focus on your breathing. And the more you think about the breath rather than the balance, tends to hold you in the balance for longer. And bring it back to the center. And without letting the leg drop, hands to the hips, leg as high as you can for a couple of breaths. Good. And then slightly lower, sweep it to the side, bring it back in behind you, realign the hips and lift the leg back into warrior three. Extending the arms backwards, forwards, whichever option you want to give a go. I keep feeling again like you're in a back bend. You're trying to contract the back muscles to lift and open the chest. And bringing it elegantly back up to standing, front of your mat, hands into prayer position. And then bringing your right ankle onto your left thigh just above the knee. We're taking this out into a version of Vrikshasana tree pose, but without having the inside of the foot on the inside of the thigh. Just stay here for a couple of breaths. Lift the crown of the head towards the ceiling. Then start to sit back into Utkatasana and fold over the leg at the same time. So forward folding as you sit into chair pose. Try and bring the shins and the forearms into line. Hold it there. If you engage the right elbow into that right thigh, you might help to push that outer right thigh down towards the floor and get the shin into a parallel line. Then lift it back up to standing, hold it for a breath, and release the right leg down over to the other side. Outside of the left ankle. And sitting it down into your chair and folding over the chair, forearms to the shin. As much as you can. If you engage the left elbow onto that inner thigh, you might even be able to press that outer thigh more towards the floor. And then lifting it up, back to standing, couple of breaths. And releasing that foot down. Either repeating the same thing on the right side. Sitting back into your chair and folding over the leg, holding it there. Or if you want to take it further and into the arm balance. Hands are coming forwards, shins as high up that upper arm as you can. Try and hook the right toes around left arm. Bend the elbows backwards and lean forwards, look forwards until the weight lifts out of the back foot. Grip your fingertips into the floor. So feel like you're clawing the floor if you're in the arm balance. Otherwise, just sitting and finding that stretch in the outer right hip. Keep sitting low. And wherever you are, bring it back up to standing and over to the other side. Left ankle onto the right thigh. sitting all the way into that chair position first. So it serves you to get low so that you can get the appropriate mobility in the outer left hip as you work on this stage. And then keep the low as you bring the hands down to the floor. So the back knee needs to stay bent. Can't straighten that back leg. You could come up onto your toes, but you don't want to straighten the back leg at this stage. You know, if you're pretty close, you could just bring your hands to the floor and engage the shin against the upper arms without bending the elbows back. Right, then wherever you are, bring it back up to standing. Take a breath. Release the leg down. Take your feet out to mat width distance and turn the toes so that they turn off the mat. So feet are at a 45-degree angle and sit down into Malasana squat position. So some of you might have to be up on your toes. It's ankle structure and all of that. So if you are up on your toes, good, you get an extra benefit of strengthening your ankles and building stability there. Anybody who can get their heels on the floor, if you fancy doing this on your toes, you can always give that a go. Whichever one you're in, you're getting low between the legs and trying to press the mounds of the thumbs towards each other. Lengthen your neck, look down the tip of the nose towards the floor and focus on your breath. And this is a good opportunity to also expand your belly with your breath, so you can start to relax some of that bandha engagement. Good. Okay, so from here, lift up again, but with the arms going through the legs. So bottom will lift slightly, arms are going through your legs and coming round as far as they can to hold on to the front of the ankles. Let the head drop and then squeeze the legs in onto the arms as you lift the sit bones. So you're doing a little bit of bopping up and down with the bottom as you try and straighten your legs, squeezing the legs in onto the arms. Little bob around. And then release it. Come back into your squat. Quite hard work on the leg muscles, just making that action of trying to straighten the legs when they're around the upper arms. All right, so we're going to do that again, and we're going to do it with a view to an arm balance. All right, so Bhuja Pidasana, arm balance. So arms are going to come through the legs. You're going to see if you can bring the palms to the floor outside your feet. If the palms won't come to the floor, then you've got blocks, then use blocks. If not, you can try crow pose instead. You can practice that. If you've got your palms on the floor, squeezing the legs onto the arms, rock backwards. See if you can hook your feet and hover them off the floor. Squeeze the legs in onto the arms. You might still have your feet on the floor. Right, don't get the feet crossed, but give it a go. Go squeeze those legs in onto the arms. All right, then whether you're in crow pose or Bhuja Pidasana, release it and come and sit into Upavishta Konasana, wide legs. Extend the heels away, flex the toes back, and then lengthening through the torso, fold forwards just as much as you can. And lengthen the chest. You can come onto the elbows, you can press the elbows into the floor and draw the chest forwards. If you've got the hands on the floor, elbows straight, grip the fingertips into the floor, pull the chest forwards. If you really want to work it hard, grab hold of the big toes, pull on the toes and bend the elbows backwards as you bring your chin down towards the floor. Directional. So, you know, the chin might be a long, long way from the floor. It really doesn't matter. Keep pressing the inner thighs down towards the floor. Okay, good. All right. So coming back up to sitting, taking that same principle, grab the big toes in a wide-legged Navasana position. So knees are out to the side, arms are on the inside. Grab your big toes and really engage the toes into the hands, draw your shoulder blades down back. So you're pushing forwards into the fingers with the toes, but you're equalizing that action by drawing the shoulder blades back. So it's like a tug of war. is going on. The toes pushing forwards, the fingers pulling back, but you're making it supple so nobody can tell. All right, so keep that sense of engagement into the toes as you straighten the legs, wide-legged into the air. Keep drawing the shoulder blades down the back. So I'm going to take a little rock and roll, and you're going to rock back up to balance. You need two things. Momentum, so a little bit of momentum as you rock back and rock back up, and engagement of the toes into the hands, the shoulders drawing back. So at the point where the sitting bones hit, find the brakes going on. All right, so take it backwards and rock it up into your balance. Keep lifting the chest. Might take you 2 or 3 times. Don't worry if this all gets a little bit hilarious. And once you've done it once, do it twice. Rock back, rock it up. Put your brakes on. All right, good, okay. So from there, crossing the legs, bring the legs to the floor, hands to the floor, step back into plank. Take an inhale breath in plank, and then exhale all the way down onto your belly, point the toes back. Bring your hands alongside the lower ribs, press into the tops of your feet, push forwards through the hands, and lift to upward dog. So feel like you're trying to just let the hip bones hover off the floor as you press into the tops of the feet. And feel again like you're drawing the breastbone, lower breastbone forwards. Lengthen your neck, keep pressing the ends of the thumbs into the floor. All right, so now we're going to descend really slowly through high cobra. Thighs down, elbows bend, coming down, peel down, elbows in, slow it all down, push forward through the hands, and chin to the floor. All right, let's peel it up again. Start by grounding through the feet, pubic bone down, hip bones pulling forwards. Push forwards through the hands, peel through high cobra. Take a pause with the elbows bent and push the floor away. Hover the thighs, collarbones broad, shoulder blades down. All right, one more descent, rolling it back down just like you came up, go in slow motion. It's as if we're reversing the video in slow motion as you come down, chin to the floor. All right, so now lift your hips. So you're pressing into the knees and press down straight through the hands, straighten the arms. So as if you were doing a push-up, but onto your knees. Rock it back onto the knees, come up onto your knees, hands to the back of the hips. Ground through the shins, draw your navel in, lift and broaden the chest. Drop the front heads of the shoulders back, release the head back, breathe. So keep breathing through your nose, drawing the navel in, lifting the chest, lightly pushing the hips forwards and slightly descending the flesh of the buttocks towards the creases at the back of your knees with the pressure of your hands. When you're ready, bring that back up to vertical. Hands in prayer, chin in, but don't close your eyes. Look down the tip of the nose towards your middle finger. Then either you're going to repeat that again, or you're going to go for your heels. You can go for the heels with the toes pointed back or the toes tucked under. Whichever one you're doing, start with everybody else. Yeah, same thing. You're using the hands to just keep the pelvis stable. Navel draws in to lengthen the belly. Collarbones are broad and the skin of the back is trying to wrinkle as you take your head back. So each inhale breath, feel like you're lifting that lower part of the breastbone up towards the ceiling. With the exhale breath, feel like you're letting the skin of your back soften to wrinkle up behind you. If you're going for the heels and you haven't already, you can go for them. If you've got the heels, you want to feel like you're pulling back off them as you take the hip bones forwards and the chest up. Right, whenever you're ready, coming back up to vertical, hands in prayer, look down the tip of the nose towards your middle finger. And then one more time, your choice of the version. So for some of you, you might want to try and come up from sitting on your heels and holding onto the heels. So if you want an alternative way of going in, you can grab hold of the heels while sitting down And while I say it's an alternative way, it's not necessarily an easier way. Then while holding the heels, lift up, lengthen the tailbone towards your knees, and then keep going through as you lift the chest and take your head back. And breathe, don't speak. Speaking is difficult in those circumstances. So your version, either hands on hips, hands on heels, or lifting up off the heels and bringing the chest through. Once you're ready to come up, hands into prayer position in front of the chest, then bring the thumbs onto your forehead. Take the knees slightly wider, sit back onto your heels, and then fold forwards. Come down to the floor. So just rest the forehead onto the thumbs for a moment. Take the elbows as wide as you need to. We're not staying here for long. Then taking the hands out to shoulder width distance. Bring yourself back to all fours and push into downward dog. A couple of breaths in downward dog. And lift the right leg up. Doesn't have to be too high. And casually bring it through to pigeon position. However far forwards you want the shin to be. You do want the right knee, either behind or to the outside of the right hand. So don't have it in the center between the hands. Have it off to the side. Right heel can be right back towards the hip, or if you want to challenge the stretch, you can bring that right shin more parallel to the front of the mat. Slide the left foot back and come to sit as low into the hips as you can. Press into your hands, spiral your biceps forwards, broaden across the collarbones and lift your chest. And if you want a little bit of extra stretch at the same time as engaging the muscles on the back leg, then press into the top of your left foot and lift the knee off the floor. Keep lifting your chest. And then walking it forwards onto the elbows. Dropping the weight into the hips, particularly feeling like you're allowing the outside of the right thigh to spread into the floor as your left hip bone drops. And if you can go all the way onto the forehead with extended arms in this position, then you can go onto your forehead. Try to lose the sense of future. Focus in one breath at a time, one inhale, one exhale at a time. Just sitting with the sensations of the pose. They're not good, they're not bad, they just are. And lifting back up onto the hands and coming into full pigeon, broadening your chest. And optional, bend the left knee, take the left hand back behind you, hold on to the inside of the foot. So kick the foot back into the hand, but keep turning your left hip bone forwards and the chest forwards. And see if you can take the hand over the top of the foot so that the hand is on the foot and not just on your toes. And squeeze the heel in towards the buttock. Keep lifting the chest. If that feels excruciatingly uncomfortable, either in the front of the thigh or in the front of the shoulder, then just stick to holding onto the foot from the inside. And release it. Hand to the floor, tuck the toes under, lift the knee and swing the right leg back behind you. Tiny little wiggle. Bending one knee as you extend the other leg. And slight lift of the left leg and bring that foot forwards into pigeon, that leg forwards into pigeon. Make any adjustments you want to for how far to square to the front of the mat you're going to bring the shin. Slide the right leg back behind you. Press the hands into the floor and lift and open the chest. So thinking upward dog. Again, you might do the same with the back leg as an upward dog. Press into the top of the foot and lift the knee. And then taking it down onto your elbows, and if that feels okay, continuing onto the forehead. So if you're feeling that strong stretch in the outer left hip, then as you settle here into the more passive version of this pose, you might find that things start to grip around that whole hip area as the body resists being in this position. Nervous system resists it. So see if you can actively, consciously encourage any of that tension to let go, just sinking into the floor, allowing that outer thigh hip to spread into the floor and be heavy. Thinking right hip is dropping forwards and down. And then lifting back up onto the hands, coming into that feeling of upward dog again, and bending your back knee, reach the right hand back behind you. Right, trying to turn the chest forwards as you kick the foot back into the hand. And then if you can, take the hand over the top of the foot, so the toes are just above the wrist on the forearm. Squeeze the heel in towards the buttock. So as you squeeze the heel towards the buttock, don't lift the buttock towards the heel. Keep dropping that right hip bone forwards as you squeeze it in. If that's impossible for you, hold on to the inside of the foot still. And release it. Hands to the floor, tuck the toes under, lift the knee, swing the left leg back, have a little wiggle around. And then come down onto your knees, and we're just going to convert it onto the back. So final position, continuing on that back bending journey. Either you're going to go into bridge pose or to wheel pose. So bridge pose, same thing as wheel pose. You'll be starting with the heels close to the buttocks, but the feet just wider than the hips. And then lifting up into this position. So we'll all be starting here in a bridge. If you're going to continue in bridge, interlacing the fingers, rolling the outer arms under, and then pressing shoulders, feet into the floor to get the hips and the back to lift. If you're going to wheel, instead of interlacing, hands are coming alongside your ears, up onto the top of the head as a starting point, and then full wheel, straightening the arms. So your decision. Some of you will already be here while I'm whittering on at you about which pose to go into. All right. So whichever one you're in, feel like you're using the feet to help you get those hips to lift and to push the chest more towards the back wall. Whenever you're ready, descend slowly from your pose. If you're in wheel, don't forget to tuck your chin so that you land without cricking your neck. Take a couple of breaths and then repeat, whichever one you want to repeat. So even if you went into wheel, you have the opposite option of bridge. If you went into bridge, you have the option of wheel. So really strong grounding through the mounds of the thumbs, wheelers. See if you can get your elbows into shoulder width distance, but keep good action through the feet. And whenever you're ready, you come down. All right. Last time, third time and optional. So right now the nervous system and possibly the mind may well be resisting the concept of a third back bend. If you do it, it'll probably be your best back bend yet. So see if you can overcome the nagging of your mind, only if, like, you know, that even seems like a sensible option, because we've done quite a strong practice. Go wherever you want to go, bridge or wheel. And most importantly, when you're there, breathe through your nose. Breathe deep, full, expansive breaths. When you're ready, come down. And once you're down, take at least 3 breaths in neutral. So without drawing your knees in fact, walk your feet slightly away from the buttocks. Just let everything drop for a moment. Breathe. And lift the soles of the feet. Gently holding on to the shins, just let the weight of the arms draw the knees in towards the chest. If you can expand your back into the floor with your inhale breath. And then lift the feet, and either holding on to the back of the thighs or taking hold of the big toes, give yourself a little wiggle around. So circle your feet and give yourself a little bit of a wiggle around. Allow yourself to roll around on the back. So a version of happy baby pose. Let it be joyous. Don't worry about people watching as you're in your own living room, kitchen or bedroom. It really doesn't matter. A little wiggle around. And gently bringing that back to the stillness and bringing your feet to the floor. Either walking the feet into Shavasana, trying not to kick anything over, or keeping your knees bent, whichever position is comfortable for your legs right now. Taking the arms away from the body with the palms facing up. Let there be a softening. Feel the contact points at the back of the body, touching the mat and the floor, and see if you could drop the weight into them such that it feels like they're merging into the floor. And any tension drain out of the face, softening the jaws, the tongue, the lips. Letting the eyes sink back. Drawing your gaze inwards. And as you draw your gaze to the back of the eyelids, imagine there a screen as high and wide as you can see. And just observe any phenomena arising on your mind screen. Colors, patterns, shapes, lights. Just observing the scene without involvement. Allowing whatever unfolds to unfold. Nothing to do for the next 2 minutes but be and breathe.